Korean leader Kim Jong-un has reportedly overseen a naval test of strategic cruise missiles. According to state media, he watched as a patrol ship staged a missile launching drill to confirm its combat function. He also inspected the ship, which he praised for maintaining, quote, high mobility and mighty striking power. State media did not specify when the test took place. Meantime, South Korea and US forces have kicked off their large-scale joint military drills. The annual event is aimed at bolstering their defence capabilities against North Korea's evolving threats. And CNN's Paula Hancock joins us now live from Seoul. Good to see you, Paula. So what's the latest on these joint military drills and, of course, reaction from North Korea?
Well, Rosemary, these drills are expected to last 10 days. So they'll start today, this Monday. They have started, and they'll go through till the end of the month. Ulchi Freedom Guardian is what they're called. We're being told by officials that well over 30 different drills will be taking place. There'll be live drills, field drills, and also simulated drills as well. So a real combination. Now, we know that these are the kind of exercises that anger Pyongyang, and the fact that they'd had that Kim Jong-un inspecting the cruise missile launch shows how much it does irritate them. Even though we don't have a date of when that happened, the fact that they released that information and the photos of him watching the cruise missile launches from that ship, certainly it shows that this could well be seen as a response to the start of the military drills. Now, we also know, according to South Korean police, they announced this on Sunday, that there have been some hacking attempts on these drills as well. This is from the US Forces Korea drills. We understand there was one attempt in the first half of this year, in February, when potentially malicious email attacks were sent out to employees of domestic companies that were involved in these drills. And then also as early as last month, in July of this year, we understand that there were emails sent out pretending to be from members of the US Army. Now, we have been told by police that they didn't manage to cause any damage, that no military-related information was taken because they did have security checks in place. But it just shows, once again, how Pyongyang views these military exercises. They have long said that they believe that they're a dress rehearsal to an invasion from the US South Korean side. They have said that they're defensive in nature and they're necessary to maintain readiness. But it is a fact that we have seen a lot more military drills between the US and South Korea this year and last year than we had seen for some time. So once again, North Korea is showing its displeasure at these drills. They will be going on for the next 10 days. And we know that the intelligence agency here in Seoul has already, at the end of last week, warned that there could potentially be a launch, maybe an intercontinental ballistic missile launch. They say that they've witnessed preparations related to a launch. There's been vehicle movements around missile production facilities, and they are on the lookout for that. Rosemary?
And Paula, how was that trilateral Camp David summit a game changer in the region?
Well, this is another reason that the intelligence agency, through lawmakers, had warned that there could be some imminent launch because of that summit as well. This was the end of last week. The leaders of the US, South Korea and Japan meeting at Camp David in the United States to talk about North Korea, of course, but also a growing threat from China. Now, they did agree on a number of things. There's going to be an annual summit. There's a three-way hotline that's being worked out. There will be more military exercises trilaterally, and also they are looking to share real-time intelligence, especially when it comes to things like North Korean missile launches. Rosemary?
All right, our thanks to Paula Hancock in Seoul for that report.
All right, Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. As of today, I just want to go into this article from CNN. And it says, North Korea says it has simulated a nuclear missile attack to warn U.S. of nuclear war danger. And as you see in, the clip that I featured, that's pretty much what they were going into, you know. So I'm just going to bring out a couple of scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. So as we know, the world is pretty much on the brink of World War III, you know. But again, as we know, before this war can take place, a particular prophecy has to come to pass first, which is, Revelation 13 and verse 16, the implementation of, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. So I'm going to go to the scriptures. I'm going to start in the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6, and it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all the things, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So yes, that's pretty much what we're hearing about, wars and rumors of wars. Russia is still, at war with Ukraine. Then, you have North Korea, they're doing their military drills. The U.S. and South Korea doing their military drills. These particular countries, they're doing drills. They're pretty much getting ready to go to war, ultimately with America, But primarily it's going to be, Russia versus America. Verse 7, and it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." And yes, that's pretty much the time that we're coming into. Nation is going to be against nation, kingdom against kingdom, because that's ultimately what World War III is going to be. It's going to be two primary nations, two primary kingdoms going up against each other. The United States of Russia, Babylon the Great, versus the bear. And we ultimately know that, Russia is going to destroy America. Also, ultimately, it's going to be our Lord Yahweh Shai and the angels, but Russia is going to destroy America. And, Russia's allies and even America's allies are ultimately going to turn and shoot their missiles over here as well, because it's prophesied that this place has to be destroyed. This place is extremely wicked. Is the book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 8. And it says, "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee, as thou hast rewarded us." It's like pretty much, Babylon has to be destroyed. America is Babylon the Great. And it is prophesied that this place will go out by way of fire, How was that fire going to be brought about? By way of thermonuclear missiles. So when it comes to the book of Isaiah, chapter 54 and verse 16, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy," and that being those nuclear missiles. And that's pretty much what, North Korea, Russia, and these other countries, are doing. They're pretty much upping their nuclear arsenal. And then just Friday, there's an article that came out that pretty much said Russia pretty much has, set up their Satan II missiles, which they said can destroy, which can pretty much wipe England off the map, or can destroy a landmass the size of Texas. So that shows you just how devastating one Satan missile can be, And if I'm not mistaken, they said 3 Satan II missiles could wipe out the entire United States. Pretty much this man has developed weapons that can ultimately, destroy this world. But as we know, the angels are pretty much going to hold the earth together, to stop it from, being destroyed. Because once these missiles are launched, the majority of them are going to hit America, and it's going to shake the earth, causing that great earthquake. I'm going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, and verse 4, and it says, "And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf off from a slakia, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a fig falling from the tree. My sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys and with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea." And yes, it's going into Esau, Edom, because, Idumea and Basra, those were capital cities, in Edom, and as we know, this man has to be taken down because ultimately, he would, destroy this whole world and ultimately himself. This is why he's trying to go to other planets. He's pretty much destroyed the earth. So he wants to go to other planets, and do the same thing. But the Lord isn't going to allow him to do that, because again, that's going to be, that great sacrifice, the Lord destroying America, because ultimately, as the apostle said, America is pretty much one huge altar, which is going to be burned by way of that fire. Then I'm going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 17. I'm going to start at verse 1. And it says, "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying, Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunken with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, and full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth." And yes, that's America. Babylon the Great is America. And that's, the one thing this place pushes out, on a mass scale, confusion, and abominations. That's why you have, the alphabet people, the Rainbow Mafia, pretty much getting, the rights that they have. If you misgender someone, you can get prison time. You can get arrested for it, at least here in Michigan. Like, it's madness, the things that, are pretty much pushed here, but ultimately this place is going to go. Then I'm going to jump down to verse 14, and it says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her naked, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." And yes, those 10 horns being, those NATO nations, even though it's more than 10 nations, But ultimately, America's allies are going to turn on her and shoot their missiles over here as well because, they're going to be angry. Ultimately, all of these nations that have done business with America, they're going to be angry, and they're going to, add to that destruction. So, Slakia, bear with me. No, I'm going to end it on this. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 4 and verse 1. And it says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day cometh, Slakia, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, said the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." So yes, America is going to be left completely desolate. That fire is going to burn for a long time. Nothing's going to be able to put it out. It's ultimately going to have to put itself out. But once that fire goes out, America is going to be completely desolate. It's going to be desert land. Nothing but desert creatures will dwell here. It's like it says in the book of Isaiah 34, describing what America will look like after the destruction takes place. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.